was actually really excited to start making more videos. Not for the fact that I do need my rest and sleep and stuff, because I do also have a full-time job, and I only do this for fun and to help other people sleep, and that's kind of what I want to do. But I was enjoying it, and I think on my first video, and that still got quite a few more views than my other videos. I don't know whether it was just a good time when I uploaded, or whether it was just because that video was my first one, but it seems to do really, really well. Still, if you watch my videos and you do really like them, or you put the bell on and that, but haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, because what that does is, it just shows that I can interact with you at some point, and you can just sort of see my content when it does come up, and hopefully that's more often than not. And if you do leave me comments, it's great to find out whether you guys have had a better night's sleep because of this video, or whether it's because of another video, or whether you've got a book in mind that you think I should read, and whether it's read in my personal life or read for a video or whatever it is. Please feel free to comment down below and just sort of interact. It's not like, it's not like I'll be able to do videos all the time, so the ones I do upload, I hope you do like them. But yeah, obviously I left on another sort of semi-chapter, so let's get into it and start reading again. Choose your struggle. If I ask you, what do you want out of life, and you say something like, I want to be happy and have a great family and a job I like, your responses are common and expected. That doesn't really mean anything. Everybody enjoys what feels good. Everybody wants to live a carefree, happy and easy life, to fall in love, to have amazing sex and relationships, to look perfect and make money, and be popular and well presented and admired, and a total baller to the point that people part like the Red Sea when they walk into the room. Everybody wants that. It's easy to want that. A more interesting question, the question that most people never consider, is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Because that seems to be a great determinant of how our lives turn out. For example, for most people, want to get the corner office and make a boatload of money, but not many people want to suffer through 60-hour weeks, long commutes, obnoxious paperwork, and arbitrary corporate hierarchies to escape the confines of an infinite cubicle hell. Most people want to have great sex, an awesome relationship, but not everyone is willing to go through tough conversations, the awkward silences, the hurt feelings, and the emotional psychodrama to get there. And so they settle. They settle and wonder, what if? For years and years, until the question morphs from what if into what else. And when the lawyers go home and the alimony check is in the mail, they say, what for? If not for their lowered standards and expectations 20 years prior, then what for? Because happiness requires struggle. It grows from problems. Joy doesn't just sprout out of the ground like daisies and rainbows. Real, serious, lifelong fulfillment and meaning have to be earned through the choosing and managing of our struggles. Whether you suffer from anxiety or loneliness, or obsessive compulsive disorder, or a dickhead boss who ruins half of your waking hours every day, the solution lies in the acceptance and active engagement of that negative experience, not the avoidance of it, not the salvation from it. People want an amazing physique, but you don't end up with one unless you legitimately appreciate the pain and physical stress that come with living inside the gym. For hour upon hour. Unless you love calculating and collaborating the food you eat, planning your life out in every tiny plate-sized portions. Hold it like that, I reckon. It's probably better. People want to start their own business. You don't end up a successful entrepreneur unless you find a way to appreciate the risk. Can you see the book, guys? Sorry. The uncertainty, the repeated failures, the insane hours devoted to something that many earn absolutely nothing. People want a partner, a spouse, but you don't end up attracting someone amazing without appreciating the emotional turbulence that comes with weathering rejections. Building the sexual tension that never gets released, and staring blankly at your phone that never rings. It's part of the game of love. You can't win if you don't play. What determines your success isn't what do you want to enjoy. The relevant question is, what pain do you want to sustain? The pain to happiness is a path full of shit heaps and shame. You have to choose something. You can't have a pain-free life. It can't all be roses and unicorns all the time. Pleasure is the easy question, and pretty much all of us have a similar answer. The more interesting question is the pain. What is the pain that you want to sustain? That's the hard question that matters. The question that will always get you somewhere. It's the question that can change perspective alive. Is what makes me and you, and you. Is what defines us and separates us and ultimately brings us together. For most of my adolescence and young adulthood, I fantasized about being a musician, a rock star in particular. Any badass guitar song I heard, I'd always want to close my eyes and envision myself up on stage, playing it to the screams of the crowd, people absolutely losing their minds to my sweet finger noodling glory. This fantasy can keep me occupied for hours was simply biding my time before I could investigate the proper amount of energy and effort and getting out there and making my mark. First I needed to finish school, then I needed to make some extra money to buy gear, then I needed to find enough free time to practice, then I had to network and plan my first projects, then nothing. Despite my fantasizing about this for over half my lifetime, the reality never came to fruition, and it took me a long time and a lot of struggle to finally figure out why. I didn't actually want it. I was in love with the result. The image of me on stage, people cheering, me rocking out, pouring my heart into what I was playing, but I wasn't in love with the process, and because of that, I failed repeatedly. Hell, I didn't even try hard enough to fail at it. I hardly tried at all. The daily drudge of practicing, the logistics of finding a group and rehearsing, the pain of finding gigs and actually getting people to show up and give a shit, the broken strings, the blown tube amp, hauling 40 pounds of gear, and from rehearsals with no car, is a mountain of a dream and a mile-high club to the top. And what it took me was a long time. To discover is that I didn't like to climb much. I just liked to imagine the summit. The common cultural narratives would tell me that I somehow failed myself, that I'm a quitter or a loser, that I just didn't have it, that I gave up my dream, that just maybe I let myself succumb to the pressures of society. But the truth is far less interesting than any of these explanations. The truth is, I thought I wanted something, but it turns out I didn't. End of story. I wanted the reward and not the struggle. I wanted the result but not the process. I was in love. I was in love with not the fight, but only the victory. And life doesn't work that way. Who you are is defined by what we're willing to struggle for. People who enjoy the struggles of a gym are the ones who run triathlons and have chiseled abs and can bench press a small house. People who enjoy long work weeks and and the politics of the corporate ladder are the ones who fly to the top. People who enjoy the stress and uncertainties of starving artist lifestyle are ultimately the ones who live it and make it. Oh, hold on guys. There we go. It's not about willpower or grit. It's another admonishment of a no pain, no gain. This is the most simple and basic component of life. Our struggles determine our success. Our problems birth our happiness, along with slightly better, slightly upgraded problems. See, it's a never-ending upward spiral, and if you think at any point you're allowed to stop climbing, I'm afraid you're missing the point, because the joy is in the climb itself. And we are on chapter 3. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you get a good night's sleep.